Hey guys, today we are going to talk about waterproofing a shower floor, well, the whole shower, but really focusing on the shower floor and the way that I do a shower pan waterproofing. If you want to see how to build a custom size, shape, whatever shower pan out of a mud pack, a dry pack, then I'll link that video below. We've already done that. Now we're waterproofing so we can go ahead and get ready to tile the shower base. This is the way I do it. There are things that everyone does differently. Some people love different brands. Some people love different products. This is the way when I need to build a custom size, shape shower pan that I do it, and I've done it and I've not had failures. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm mixing a few different products for the way I'm waterproofing this shower in this case today, but I started with a Hardy Backer, which is a concrete product, is a concrete board on the wall. In between my seams, so on the corners or where two boards butt up against each other, I'm going to take this, it's a mesh tape that is meant for between concrete board, and I am going to embed it in thin set. And you can either you can put the thin set down and then put the tape down, or put the tape down and then put the thin set on top of it. Because it's mesh, the thin set will go through. Sometimes it's not sticky enough. It has a little bit of stick, but not that much. So sometimes it's easier to put the mesh down first, or put the thin set down first and then embed the mesh into it. But it's kind of just a preference. I'm going to start mixing thin set to apply my waterproofing fabric for the base of my shower. Now, most of these fabrics are going to recommend an unmodified thin set mortar. And the reason for that they say, if you research it a little bit more, is that an unmodified product does not need full access to air to dry and cure. And if you're putting something that's supposed to be impervious, which means air and liquid and stuff can't get through it, and you put it between, sandwich it, and air can't get to it, how does it set up and dry? So some of these brands have a specific mortar that you can buy to apply. Like Curdy has one, I think, called All Set. But if you don't have access to that, most of the time they're going to say use an unmodified mortar. But just make sure you look at the specs. I like to mix this pretty liquid because I want to be able to smooth it out really nicely. I want really good coverage, but I also want to be able to smooth out down all my ridges. The other thing here is I make sure you pre-cut your fabric before you have all this laid out, or it's going to be hard. So cut that out in advance. Whenever I can cut my fabric where I can wrap an edge, it's a little bit harder to wrap it around and get a nice crisp corner. So sometimes if you know where your edge is going to be, it's nice to pre-fold that and make it kind of a crisp bend. But for instance, you can see on these two sides going over the curb of the shower, I was able to fold that over. I'm not going to have to put the edge banding on those two pieces. Of course, I'll have to do the corners, but then I don't have to do that banding strip on those two, and I'll just have to do my corners and the two back banding strips. So anytime you can wrap and prevent a break in your fabric, that's one less area you're going to risk having a failure in your shower system. You want to prevent letting your thin set skim over and dry a little bit before you get the fabric embedded into it. You can kind of see when I was working on this one part of the curb, I scraped it off because it had dried a little bit more than I would like. I just scraped it off and put new wet thin set on there. So pay attention to that. You really want to smooth and blend this fabric into your thin set and embed it really, really well. So you can use a trowel, you can use something flat to really push it in. And then you can see that I cut the drain hole out in the middle so that I can push my air pockets toward the center that might be in the membrane, because we're really just trying to bond it really well and push any air pockets out. Now I'm going to start figuring out my layout for all of my corner pieces. So Curdy has pre-made corners. They have interior corners, exterior corners. They even make kind of weird shapes, like if you have a neo-angle shower. So you have options for these pre-formed corner pieces. The problem that I'm going to run into here is that Curdy they require for their warranty for you to have a 2-inch overlap. But my corners, for instance, on my curb of my shower, they can't be 2 inches of overlap because we did a really low profile curb. It's not 2 inches tall. And so I'm having to trim down and modify some of these corner pieces to make it work. But because we're not meeting the minimum requirement then for the Curdy product, what I'm also going to do after I'm done is apply a liquid applied roll-on membrane over the entire system. So right now I'm just figuring out the layouts for my corners and getting everything pre-cut before I start to install them. Once I got everything pre-cut, I mixed my thin set to, again, a pretty liquid consistency because I
I don't want to smoosh it all out when I bond everything from the base and the walls to the corner, but we do want to be able to compress those ridges and get really good full coverage. So if you make your thin set too thick, you're not going to be able to do that. So I'm going to put a little bit of these corner creations on a time lapse because sometimes it's hard to figure out how you need to problem solve piecing with your inside and your outside corners together. If you don't need this part, just go ahead and scrub through it. Now we're going to add edge banding around the corners where we have our base meeting with the wall of our shower. Keep in mind, the only reason I'm not doing this over the curb of the shower is if you remember when I put the bottom piece of fabric down, I wrapped it up over those edges. If you had not done that, then you need to make sure to do this around all of your edges. This is going to be easier if you pre-fold this. You can embed it into the corner with your trowel or whatever you're installing with, but if you can get a crease in this before you put it into the corner, it's going to be a little bit easier. Take a measurement, cut it, get everything ready before you put your thin set down, and remember you want at least 2 inches of overlap with those corner pieces. Before I start installing my roll-on waterproofing membrane, I'm going to tape off all of the walls and the ceiling where I don't want this to go. It's kind of a rubbery plasticky material, and so I'm protecting the surrounding areas. The other thing I'm going to do is once I roll this on, I'm going to peel this off before I let it dry so it doesn't bond to the tape. I like to start my liquid applied waterproofing with a really good brush, getting it into the corner. Now, you're going to throw this brush away. Don't think that you're going to wash this off. Don't even waste your time. But you want to get the corners, you want to get a really good coating in the corners, and then you're going to roll on all your other surfaces with a pretty heavy nap roller so you get good coverage. One of the biggest issues with a roll-on or a liquid waterproofing membrane is people not getting it thick enough and not getting a good full coating. So Hydroban is what I'm using here, and it says that it should take 2 coatings, but you do want to make sure you get this thick enough. If you don't, it's not going to fulfill its purpose.
The reason I like to double up on my shower pans is, first of all, waterproofing is very serious. I get really nervous. I don't want to ever have an issue where a shower pan or a shower fails. When you use a fabric product, a lot of times you're going to apply your fabric and there's not going to be anything that needs to go over it. Or for instance, Hydroban's liquid applied waterproofing membrane, they say you don't have to use fabric if you have a gap less than, I think it's 1/8 of an inch, but double check if you're going to use it. I like to double up because it gives me the peace of mind. Keep in mind, if you double up between products, you are most likely going to void a warranty on any of your products. I have been mixing brands and products for years. I have used Schluter with Aqua Defense over it. I've used Schluter with Hydroban over it. I've never had a failure. I really don't use a lot of Red Guard, so I don't really know there. I've used Red Guard over like Hardy Backer, but I haven't used it over Schluter, so I can't speak to that. But I understand I'm voiding my warranty, and I understand that as a brand, if you're mixing all these products together, they can't understand if there's a failure, where the failure came from, and how can you blame it on one product or the other. But for me, I've never had a failure, so I do mix products. But keep in mind, if you're going to make that decision, it's very possible that you are going to most likely void any warranty that you have on any of your products. So I don't trust warranties. I've never had and not to any of these brands specifically to say anything against them. In general, in life, I have never had a warranty be honored and come back and help me out with anything. So I just don't trust warranties. So I trust myself and doing it the best way possible. And so there's really some scenarios where blending these two products gives me more peace of mind. For example, if you have ever applied like a corner, like a Schluter corner, it's really hard because you always have these little areas where you just can't get a flat. Maybe it's because your corner is not perfect or perfectly square or whatever, and then you have these little gaps. I think that's why they require such a big overlap, but you're always nervous that there's gonna be this little gap and the water is just gonna go through so you can go ahead and paint your liquid applied over it, and it blocks those gaps and it gives you that peace of mind on all your perimeters. The other thing is that something like, remember when we did this corner over here? So when we did this corner, Schluter likes you to have a 2-inch overlap on all your corner pieces. Well, my curb isn't even 2 inches tall, and that piece isn't even 2 inches tall, so it's impossible for me to do a 2-inch overlap. So if you do the largest overlap you can, and then you put the liquid applied over it, it just gives you that extra level. Same thing here. I couldn't have 2 inches because my curb is not 2 inches, and the way I had to make those work together, I had to use a couple of weird pieces, and so I also have the liquid applied over it, and it just gives me that peace of mind. Now, I could have easily done this just anywhere I had my joints. So for example, this is one piece of fabric, and it what did I do? Oh yeah, it curves up over this edge, and then it curves up over this edge. So I really didn't need it in this corner or this corner, but where I have my banding, where I have my connection points, I like to do the liquid applied on my corners, anything like that. But then it's like, at that point, when I've waterproofed everything except for this center area, why not do the whole thing? It's kind of nice when you're starting a project to start with something that just looks nice and all the same. This doesn't, because it hasn't dried yet. So you really could do your connection joints, and I've done that before and not done this. But I recently saw a video where, I think it was just today actually, maybe yesterday, the tile coach on his page, he had a bucket of Schluter board, and it wasn't the fabric, it was the board, and he had it in a bucket of water for several months, and it was growing mold on it. So then I was like, oh, maybe rolling on the liquid applied membrane over the waterproofing fabric would help inhibit mold. I don't know. To me, like, fabric versus like more of a latex, is kind of is a plasticky rubber texture. I don't know what the actual materials are. Gives me the peace of mind. I know I've mixed them and it's been fine, so to overdo it is not gonna hurt me. And so to go ahead, if I'm rolling it on and I have more material in my bucket just to do the base, let's go for it. So we have one coat here. Everything else has more than one coat. This has one coat. We're gonna come back after it dries and add a second coat, let that dry, and then we're gonna start applying our shower pan.